So we've got your trays here from the lab ready for your whitening. What you've got is an upper and lower tray, and the upper only fits the upper and the lower only fits the lower. So that one's your lower. They do look different. You'll be able to see this one's a bit wider. So the lower goes in that way, straight in, and the upper like that. So I'll get you to try that in first, just to make sure that it feels comfortable. And what you want to make sure is that there's no sharp bits. So when you put it in, you can sort of run your tongue around and just make sure it feels, like if anything feels sharp, we can trim it off. Is that really okay? Yeah. And if you want to try your top tray in as well. And just run your tongue around to make sure there's no...
That's right.
Yeah, you're not wearing them for a really long time, you know, for a long period of time or a long time at once, but just to make sure that's not going to irritate you. Okay, do you want to pop those out again? So now that you've practiced putting them in, what I'm going to do is load the tray, and maybe not all of it, just a bit of it, to show you how much bleach to put in, because it's actually a bit surprising how little bleach you use for bleaching. What you've got in the kit that you're going to take home today is 4 syringes of the whitening gel. It is gel, it's quite thick, and it's on the end, it's actually got a little cap that you snap off to start with, so that actually breaks off. If you lose it, doesn't matter, but if you turn it round, that fits over the end again as a cap. What I normally say is, after you've syringed it out, is just pull that back a bit, because that will suck any gel back in. If you push it and then put it down, leave it in the kit, it will actually just start coming out. So by the time you go to get it next time, you'll have a big blob of gel sitting in there. So I'm going to load the tray, and we're going to do the outside part of the tray. So this is the bit that you'll see, that when you look at your mouth, it's the outside surface of your tooth. The reason why we put it there is that partly so you can actually see where it is when you put it in your mouth, but also if any excess is, you can just wipe it off. So when we load, you just want about a match head size in the outside part of that tray. It's partly what people want to do is actually fill the whole tray, because you feel like the more the better, but it actually is wasting the bleach, and then also you're going to be wiping all the way or swallowing it. So just making sure towards the outside of the tray and a match head.
Yep.
Look alright? So just remember with that too, that when you've finished and you've done all the way around and you've put it in your mouth, that you just want to pull that syringe back a little bit, and you can actually see there's a little bubble normally, and it just comes back. Yeah, so you can see that happening, which is what you want. If I don't often put the cap on mine, so I just put that back in there and use it again like that, as long as you've pulled it back. So that's the main thing. On each of these there is an expiry, so this says the February 2018, so you've got quite a while to use it. Which means that with 4 syringes, if you only use in one syringe, I can do upper and lower teeth with 1 syringe over 7 days. Now, you'll use probably a little bit too much the first time. Most people do just experimenting, so that's okay. What you'll find after a few days, you'll know, oh, now I know the exact amount. So you may use 2 to 2.5 syringes, which means you'll have still a syringe sitting there. It doesn't need to be in the fridge. Just, you know, put it somewhere cool. Bathroom cabinet's fine. And then you can use it in another 6 months if you like. You know, so I'll do a top up. Might be that you're going to an event. So you pop those trays in, and normally what I'll get you to do, if you still got your plate out, so I've put both in there now.
Really?
Yeah. I'll just show you. So I normally just, with my finger, I know you don't have anything fancy at home, is you just want to get your finger out and maybe just rub, so you rub all the way around where the bleach is, and that basically just spreads it across that front part of the tooth. That will also tell you if any is going to come out, so then you can just get your finger and wipe that away, so any excess doesn't sit on the soft tissue. So most of these instructions, what I've just told you, comes in the kit as well. So you've got a little instruction kit, and this says actual size, imagining that that's fairly flat. So if you put a big blob on there, that would be probably too much, so fairly flat actual size. When you've used the tray, you also need to give it a rinse, but it says on here rinse, but I say with a toothbrush. So you put your tray in, rub your finger around to make sure it's spread nice and evenly, and you're going to leave the tray in for 30 minutes.
Yep.
Okay, half an hour, once a day, for basically 2 weeks. Now that's variable depending on the colour that you start with and the colour that you want to get to at the end, so that's really up to you. It doesn't work any quicker if you do 2 lots of 30 minutes, although people have tried that. So 30 minutes once a day. The other question that I often get asked is, where am I going to find another 30 minutes in my day? You can put the tray in, go for a jog, watch the news, do the dishes, get dinner, do the housework. You might not do any of that, but do some study, do some homework. So whatever your trays are in, the only thing you really can't do is eat and drink. So 30 minutes a day, you have to find yourself not eating and drinking, and that's kind of easy to do. So the other thing that lots of people do is, if they have a distance to travel to work, is put the trays in, get to work or school or whatever, and then take the trays out, or do that on the way home, so that way you're not trying to find extra time in the day. So you've taken the tray out, you've worn it for 30 minutes, do you want to pop that out, and you'll notice when you take it out, there is a bit of bleach on your teeth still, you'll feel that. So you just want to get your toothbrush, don't need toothpaste, just to basically get rid of the excess and spit out. And same in here, this will be, like it's quite, you can see that's not going to rinse out, it's almost like a Vaseline consistency. So you do want to get a brush and give that a bit of a scrub. Key things that you have to remember, use cold water, because the trays have been by heating up and moulding around your mould. So if you use hot water on those, they potentially might go out of shape or a little bit. Some people like to pour boiling water on them to sterilise them, not recommended. Otherwise you'll be back getting some more made. And then if you've got your models and you want to keep them on the models, that's fine. It's not necessary. They won't change shape while they're not heated. Otherwise, you've rinsed that out, they're nice and dry, and you put them back in the case. And I would say shut the lid. Pets like these. If you've got a dog or a cat, they will find them. Okay. Dogs really love them. They do. Because it smells like you. So put them somewhere out of reach. I know it sounds crazy, but it's something that we do tell patients. And then when you go to use them next time, so you use them the following day, you might find there's just a little bit of moisture in them. It's really hard to load the trays when they're wet. So if you look and they're a bit moist still, just get a tissue or something and make sure that they're dry. Because otherwise, when you go to load it, you'll just get these strings of bleach sort of trying to get away. So try that and then store them in there. That doesn't need to be in the fridge, so just somewhere that's cool, bathroom cabinet, or somewhere that you remember. Don't keep them in the car, because the heat of it won't be any good for the bleach or the trays, or in the sun. Direct sunlight won't be any good to it. Have any questions about that?
Not really.
No? Happy?
Yeah.
Sounds alright. If there's any problems any part of the way through this, then make sure you call.
Yeah, sure.
Ask me about it, because we do need to sort it out. There are some instances where people get a little bit of sensitivity. If you don't have sensitivity now, you may not get any. So I don't treat sensitivity when it doesn't exist. If you're partway through this and you say, oh, I'm starting to feel a bit sensitive and I do want something to help with that, then we'll talk on the phone or come see me and we'll get you something that will help with that. But you may get the whole way through it without any sort of side effects at all.
Yeah, I'm feeling kind of like mental feeling on my
cold-ish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So that's the bleach that's in there, which, when you're at home, you're going to brush that away and spit it out. And that's sort of the feeling that's almost like what we class as a chemical burn. And it's not going to be burnt.
Yeah.
You're not going to be in agony. But if that was a high concentration, it could well be. Yep. Thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah.
So make sure that you have a rinse before you go. And we'll also
clean it
this out for you. Yeah.